goes Julie. He comes back. One of them's Cleopatra. One's Anthony, and the other one's Julius Caesar. And he goes, Tony. He goes, Julie. How was Egypt? Oh, the heat, the Sphinx. Oh, his owl must have been the drains. That's a brilliant. Anyway, you can get it on YouTube probably.
No, we've got it there.
But yeah, you just made the British Grand Prix. The heat.
Yes, sweltering.
The drains.
No, we don't want any of that.
No. So British Grand Prix is it's something which is one of those things that you wouldn't know what it's worth unless you didn't have it. You know, and we faced that, didn't we? We looked at that, the possibility of not having British Grand Prix, and we fought very hard. And we're in the middle of a 10-year contract now in Silverstone, and it's part of the sporting social calendar in Great Britain. Not only that, but it is watched around the world. 600 million people come to Great Britain in effect and watch another great sporting event take place. We had the Olympics last year. This happens every year, and it's a great opportunity for us to advertise ourselves and also to show that this country's got an industry which produces the most sophisticated, competitive equipment. They all compete, but the majority of them are actually built not very far from this circuit. This is the World Centre for Technical Excellence, Sporting Excellence as well, and we put on a show. The sport puts on a fantastic show, and God willing, the weather's good, and everyone has a ball.
But it's not just the teams, though. It's also the drivers. I mean, I think more British drivers have won their home race than any other nationality.
Yeah, I think we actually, but that's might be because we actually produce a lot of the top drivers. If you look at the number of championships won by British drivers, we're still quite well up there. Germany just keeps on repeating the same two drivers, but they win a lot. But we have more different characters driving. But it's very, very important that we have British competitors who are at the sharp end. You know, that are big hope. Realistically, Lewis stands a chance to win the World Grand Prix. We'll have to see what happens in Paris. But Mercedes is a quick car. I've been around here so many times. I know in every single configuration, whether they change the track or whether they change the weather, it doesn't really matter. It's still Silverstone, you know, you go down the Hanger Straight. As long as there's a Hanger Straight, then it'll be Silverstone.
I mean, obviously you won here in '94. '94?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, you know, what is it like for a British driver? I mean, can you take us back to what that is like for a British driver to win in front of that home crowd? I mean, it must be pretty incredible.
The thing that really whet my appetite, I suppose, was, I mean, I've been coming here for a very long time as a boy when my dad was racing, but we just didn't have the access in those days. You didn't have Sky Digital F1, for example, and onboard cameras and all the rest of it. And so now we've got all that. But I came here and qualified for my first Grand Prix in the year that Nigel was you know, king of the world, and there was 150,000 people you know, supporting him, and I was sort of, I had one of the best seats in the house because I got to see him 5 times in the race. Just disappearing, approaching me in my mirrors, and then disappearing into the distance. And I saw him cross the line as well because I was actually the next car off the line. So you know, there was the crowd were just erupting around the circuit. So I got an insight for what it was like for Nigel, and then 2 years later I got a taste of it myself, and you can't really describe it. It was a perfect day. It was a fantastic day.
And how aware are you when you're driving off the crowd? Do you actually feel?
Yeah, because
are there sort of certain corners where you find the grandstand? And
you can see them animate as you get close. You know, you can see them waving their banners and their arms, and you can't hear them shouting. But Nigel claimed you could hear them, but I think it might have been license.
From a personal point of view, you did a hell of a lot yourself, Damon, to save the British Grand Prix. So how does it feel to be standing in front of the wing? Is this what you envisaged? Was this your dream?
Well, the dream is still there. The dream is to continue to develop Silverstone to reach its full potential as a iconic venue in motorsport, which it already is. But there's so much more that can be done to provide the full experience for race fans. I think that's phase 1 is complete with this wing development, but there's still a lot more to be done. I really hope that Silverstone is successful in their plans to get investments in, because around the world you see entertainment venues, particularly big revenue generators, big attractions, tourist attractions, and there's still a lot more that could be done or should be done in Silverstone to maximise that.
Do you feel pressure to sort of almost, because obviously sort of Silverstone has such a historic sort of tradition, but you're fighting against, not fighting, but you're being part of a season now that has all these sort of places. I mean, do you feel pressure to change or do you know what the strength of Silverstone is?
I think everywhere has got its own unique character, and Silverstone, I think, one of its greatest assets is the challenge that it presents to the drivers. The thing that should come very, very high up on the list also is the experience that fans and visitors get, and the ability to be able to see what the drivers are doing. I mean, a lot of work has gone into positioning grandstands at key points around Silverstone. It is a problem the sport has in that it requires a large area for the cars to fully be exploited, but that means that viewing opportunities are limited. But if you go to somewhere like Spa, I mean, it's the idea as a racing driver, you want to go to places like Spa, you want to go also to Monaco, you also want to go to Suzuka, you want to drive on circuits which have been venues at which the great drivers have raced on. You want to be able to say, okay, run at those venues. And that means that being able to develop a circuit that actually provides the spectator with the thrill of seeing racing cars around the entire circuit is difficult. But with modern communications, it's possible to actually sit here and also have a screen and you'll be able to watch the TV monitor and also the big screens that you've got up around the circuit. But also almost reach out and touch the cars and smell them and hear them and feel them as they go past. That's the real buzz about Formula One. As these cars are they want to go past now, they are spine-chilling in the cars. It's exciting to see what's next.
You alluded to it earlier, but as a competitor or a spectator, which one British Grand Prix sticks out in your mind?
Okay, all the Grand Prix.
As a spectator or as a competitor, which one?
I would say as a spectator, and I saw some stunning ones with Nigel Nigel overtaking PK on a few laps from the end here was thrilling. I was at Brands Hatch when Hunt was allowed to restart. I suppose it didn't say the period that I was racing because I was actually in the race, but I think all the great names. I mean, watching Senna qualifying lap, with Keke Rosberg's qualifying lap, that I was standing on the most lap here when he went past through Abbey on full boost. In those days, you could just stand behind two layers of Armco and just and watch them go past. So that was stunning. There's been lots of. If you're a racing driver, you get buzz out of that sort of thing.
And just like you.
4-4, which is the only way to describe it is that it's the closest they've come to a perfect racing car. It didn't win one race, won all the rest of them. So that's pretty good.
So yeah, you do the before.
This is the first time ever. Yeah. So I have to apologise to Frank for driving a McLaren. I'm sure if
I was going to say, yeah. All right.
But I'm sure he'd understand.
Thanks so much.
Thanks so much, Damon.